You're tapped in with the Questions Hip Hop Podcast. Every week, we bring you deep discussions, thought exercises, interviews, debates, and so much more about this culture and music that we love so much. My name is Sean Kantrowitz, and this week on the show, we are bringing back the fan-loved internet fire ablazing segment called Making Illmatic, created by my co-host MidaZ the Beast. This is where we take an album and attempt to trim it down to its 10 best songs, and then we decide, did doing so help or hurt the album? I already gave him a minor shout out. MidaZ the Beast, what's good?
What's good? What's good? It's been a minute, Sean. So we're back in the saddle. I'm hyped to fake disrespect an album. Let's get it popping.
We are joined today by a friend of ours who we have known for, I guess, probably decades now. Does that make?
For sure.
We can say multiple decades at this point. We're
Probably
reaching a certain age.
I think 22 years would be accurate.
Yeah.
22 years.
Yeah.
Holy fucking shit. He is an artist. He is a hip hop connoisseur. He is setting a record now by, I think, being our furthest away guest we've ever had on the show, broadcasting live from Thailand. We got Kap Kallous joining us on the show today. Kap.
Peace. What up? Appreciate you guys having me. I love the show.
His beard looks exceptional. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Is it the Thailand water?
I got a great Egyptian barber. Outside of that, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people ask me if I dye my beard. I don't. You know what I mean?
Oh man.
You know, I embrace aging, and you know, when it happens, it happens. But thank you for the comment. Yeah. It's always been I feel like there's a lot of people who make beard their personality when they have no personality. So I've tried to not do that my whole life, even though, like, you know, if you're a bearded bald guy, you look like everyone has a friend that looks like you, you know.
This is a fact.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm just I'm gracefully moving forward with it. But thank you. I appreciate it. Your beard looks quite magnificent as well, sir.
I'm working. I'm trying to come up, man. And I got grays. Gray's Anatomy over here is jumping.
It is a part.
I have so many grays that I have now. Not only can I not grow beards as flourishing as either of you, but now I don't even do my attempt at beards because it's a patchwork of different colors, and I'm trying to hide that. But Kap, I can assure you that your personality is not your beard. Your personality far exceeds any kind of facial hair situation that you might have going on.
You know, that'd be problematic. You know, but yeah, thanks. Yeah, great to be here. The Hank McCoy behind this is amazing, by the way.
Yo, it's fire. I had a homie. I guess they were making these. They were doing like a big Disney, and a big Marvel spread at Universal or some shit years ago. And then they ended up not using it for some reason, like the whole spread. They ended up not using it. So my homeboy hit me and was like, "Yo, I got a beast painting for you." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yo, it's big. You might need a big truck to come get it." I'm like, "A truck to come get it? Like, what the fuck?" No, this shit is on it's like,
how big is it?
It's thick. It's crazy. You know.
Do you know the dimensions on it? Like it looks nuts.
It's huge. No, I don't. But it's the whole. It's like almost the whole wall. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I love it. I just couldn't not say something. It's phenomenal.
Well, contrary to what you might think so far, we did not come here to talk about beards. We did not come here to talk about Marvel paraphernalia. We came here to give the Making Illmatic treatment to an album. The album came out in 2002. It's certainly a group that is getting a lot of talk and buzz lately with their recent reunion. We are breaking down Clipse's Lord Willin album. Kap, you were the person who brought this album to the table. Why Clipse Lord Willin? What does this album mean to you?
I mean, all right, so two different. I guess it means a couple things to me. But one, it was brought to the table. I think we were just having conversation about the current Clipse album, like most people are, you know, or most people have a couple weeks ago or whatever. At one point I was comparing it to their new project, saying that this is their best project. And after listening to this project a handful of times, their new project and other projects, I do kind of feel like Hell Hath No Fury is their best project the more that I listen to it and this album. But that being said, I think this album and time period just had a lot to do with the growth of me not falling in love with rap. I've been a fan of hip hop for, since I was way younger, probably elementary school. But I think this time in middle school, I was like getting more into, I guess, what you would consider like commercial rap as well, and like accepting that like into my lexicon. And because the two brothers rap so well, and I was a huge fan, and Neptunes were kind of coming into like the fold at that time, it was just a very influential album. I feel like almost everybody freestyled over Grindin, which is like a massive single that kind of like changed a lot of lunchrooms across like the world. I'm not sure. I don't know if like, everyone else agrees, but I would say like, not to be cheesy, but like 8 Mile and Grindin dropping in the same year, it had to have a massive effect on like lunchroom battles and freestyling. Like there's no,
That's a fact.
So I think like at that time, being in high school, having two rappers that were from the South but rapped like up north dudes over a production that didn't sound like anything else you were hearing at the time. I've always liked very unique sounding projects, artists, genres, etc., or subgenres, and I think it just always really stuck out to me as like an amazing project at the time. And then obviously listening to it 20 years later, you get different perspectives on things, but I do feel like I was just I was really anticipatory of this project coming out after hearing Grindin, because like, again, Grindin was just something I'd never heard before, so like it stuck out.
As the intro promises.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's just, like the world has nothing. I mean, it's crazy also if you think about like their two big singles, Pharrell is literally like hyping them up to be like the greatest group ever. So like to have that type of production with Pharrell, who's like on a massive come up in 2002, kind of being like, this is the new sound and the new label. Like, like it was just like, it was enticing for like a teenage me. So I think again, and then Clipse actually backing it up, like as far as like lyrical ability. I feel like I messaged you something about it, but like we'll get to Philly's Most Wanted at a certain point, but like Philly's Most Wanted was like a prototype almost, like a lot of like
Philly's Most Wanted crawled so Clipse could run, I would say.
And then like again, like Clipse ending up with Ab-Liva. Like there's just like a whole bunch of interesting backstories and cool things within the project that like, you kind of learned over the years. But anyways, it sticks out with me, I think, because of nostalgia of just like opening my mind up to more commercial rap in high school, as opposed to like being a little more underground of a listener in middle school and other years.
Yeah. So this record was released August 20th, 2002 on the aforementioned Star Trek / Arista label. Debuted at number 4 on Billboard 200. Went on to be certified gold. Like you, this was definitely a record that was on my radar. I was super into the Neptunes by this point. I was, just as a producer or as a fledgling producer at the time, completely just enamored with Pharrell and Chad Hugo's approach to making beats. It felt like it was a great, it's interesting because talking about this time period, the South was definitely popping by this point. And there was, a lot of production that was out there that was very popular in music that wasn't necessarily sample based, which a lot of like East Coast and West Coast was. These guys from Virginia were doing it in a way that like there weren't really a lot of samples. There were like some interpolations, but they were doing it in a way that, to your point, sounded like really fresh and different. And to my ears, I could rock with these beats better than I could like say if I would randomly pick the beats on a Master P album. Not to say that like there wasn't some good heat there as well, but the production, as with most things for me, the production is really what caught me. I bought this record when it came out. I did enjoy it. It was not necessarily like a Stone Cold classic to me, as I think a lot of people, maybe yourself included at the time, might have held it as. But I definitely listened to it frequently. I do have other thoughts, and I'm sure we'll get into this about Clipse overall as we go into this episode. This whole rollout behind the new album, and maybe we'll save rollout. You know what it is. Maybe we'll save some of the spicier takes about this to maybe go behind the paywall. What'd you say?
Rollout's a Neptunes beat, yeah.
No. Is it? No.
Yeah, it is.
No. Rollout is Timbaland. Rollout is Timbaland.
Oh, you're right.
It's Virginia producers, right? That's what I meant. Sorry.
It's Virginia. I believe that Pusha T was in the formative years in a group with Timbaland while they were like in high school as well.
Also, Virginia pumped out just incredible production, but these are like the first like rappers from Virginia that like made noise, correct?
I mean,
not
shout out to Mad Skills. Like Mad Skills was
that made like noise. Respect.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Like they definitely, had the biggest impact as far as rappers. Well, hold on. I guess Missy Elliott. I mean, like Missy Elliott.
That's why I'm asking. I'm making sure that I'm wrong.
Yeah, but the thing with Missy is that sometimes you kind of forget that because she does so much, you can kind of like
rapper though. She's such a good.
She's such a good rapper, but she's such an icon that sometimes, and I think also, there's a lot of reasons. But no, we'll give credit to everybody who sort of paved the way. But anyway, all that is to say, Clipse has been on my mind a lot lately. It's impossible not to if you're just on the internet right now. A lot of people have been talking about them, so I think that this is a good time to discuss them. And as I was sort of saying, if we want to get extra spicy with the takes on that, we can maybe carve some of this out for the behind the paywall if we don't want to get totally lambasted for any Clipse hot takes. But this is a record that I definitely enjoyed. I said earlier off mic that I think that we kind of have a full spectrum here of how we all felt about this album at the time. MidaZ, I'm queuing you up. What was your relationship with Lord Willin?
I had no relationship with this album at all. I never heard this album before in my life until Kap said he wanted to do this album. I never heard it, not one time. And so when we get to the part where we say, like, what did you give it back in the day? Nothing. I never heard it. You know what I'm saying? I never heard it. So what I did was when this came up, I was like I have not only do I have no relationship with the album, I have no relationship with the Clipse at all. Zero relationship. I don't have any Clipse songs on my computer. I don't have Clipse songs in my playlists of any sort. I have zero. I don't even have Grindin on my computer. Right? So I was just like, huh. Well, no, actually that's a lie because I do have the new album in on a playlist somewhere, or I have it saved, but I have no Clipse music. So the funny thing was when it came through, like, oh, we're gonna do Clipse, I was like, huh, okay. And then I was like, what the fuck was I doing in 2002? Like, what was going on? Like, so I graduated in 2001. So I missed the cafeteria by a year. Like I'm out of school now, right? And then I go to 2002's hip hop, and man, I was checked out. There's not a lot in 2002 that was that I even would go back to at all. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm looking through the list. R. Kelly and Jay-Z, Best of Both Worlds, Yin Yang Twins. There's Cameron, Come Home With Me is probably the album that I remember most from that year.
You probably were.
Did Gangster and a Gentleman drop? I want to say Gangster and a Gentleman dropped 2002.
I'm not sure. I mean, Nas Godson was definitely what I'm sure you were listening to.
So Nas Godson, yes, but as I'm looking through the list, that's almost in December. Like the year's about to be over by the time. So like for the majority of the year, it's just all like Nellyville. Like it's all extreme commercial. And I kind of put it all in a pot and was like, I'm out on all of this. Was kind of my take. So it's been an interesting revisit. I really was a big fan of the Neptunes sound. Yeah. But I think the thing about Grindin for me, and this is not gonna be a popular take at all, but the thing about Grindin for me is I think, as we do these pods, you guys start to learn Sean and I's musical taste throughout, how many different pods we do. And I think one thing for me, I like melody. I'm a melody guy. And grinding has zero melody. So it didn't move me because I'm MidaZ. I'm the anti-drums. Like, it's just drums. You know what I'm saying? And that's not enough for me. I like melody, so it didn't. When Grindin came out, I remember thinking to myself, I've never heard anything like this. That's a fact. I definitely thought that. But the only other time that I like really remember a song coming out that I've never heard anything like was Elevators. Like, I remember Elevators dropping. I remember where I was when I first heard it. I remember how I remember I was in we was in a pajama jam. And I was in middle school at a pajama jam and in Hawaii, when I used to live in Hawaii. And the DJ throws on Elevators, and I'm like the world is spinning, and I'm like, what audio is this? Like, where, it fucking blew my mind. I remember.
By the way, Pajama Jam sounds like a Hardy Boys novel where like they have to solve a mystery that went down at their middle school. Just like the Hardy Boys in the case of the Pajama Jam.
Yo, so we had like a mask reveal at the end of that.
Absolutely.
I just remember losing my shit. Now, when I heard Grindin, I remember being like, this is interesting, but it didn't take to me in that same way. It was a really interesting journey to kind of go through this album this way, because I had never heard it, and at all. I have no relationship to the Clipse at all.
It does sound like 2002. Like when,
a motherfucker.
Like, again, like the biggest rap song at the time was Hot in Here, which is also produced by Neptunes. Then there's like the whole Justin Timberlake album is Everywhere, which is produced by the Neptunes. And there's like random songs like Pasta Cavassier and Nothing, and like, that are like all over, that all kind of have
Blueprint 2 came out as well. That had Excuse Me Miss on there.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So like they definitely. And then did Speakerboxxx Love Below drop the next year?
I think so. It was 2003, I want to say.
A little shift in like sonics, probably like back to like a little more, I don't want to say soul, but like a little more soul in the sound instead of like coming directly out the keyboard, I guess, is a better way to like look at it.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the list, like MidaZ,
you do get Godson. Godson comes out in December.
You're right. In December, so it's technically a 2003 album, but yeah, like I didn't even think about like everything else that came out that year, but looking at like the list, this was probably the last like moment of me paying more attention to mainstream albums before all the underground shit, because I graduated high school in 2002. I kind of was up on some underground shit, but it was really moving to Orlando, going to college, and starting to, I don't know what provokes it when you just like have a new milestone in your life. Sometimes you reassess what you're listening to, or like how you're sort of like, intaking stuff. And like everything in the 6 months after this album came out in summer of 2002, I was basically excavating all the underground shit that came out this year, because I was looking at everything else, like all the Def Jux shit, a lot of the other records that had come out during this time, People Under the Stairs,
J-Live,
fucking, J-Live, like I liked, Clipse, Lord Willin. I loved J-Live, all of the above. So like that's kind of where my head was at too with this.
I'm probably still listening to Supreme Clientele like the whole year.
Like
as I'm looking through the list, I'm like, what did I even listen to that year? And it's probably still 01 stuff.
Right.
Is most likely what was going on, because the Boot Camp album dropped. I remember that. So yeah. It's just an interesting time. It's
that the album with like Think Back on it. The Think Back.
That's the album with and so that rang off. Oh my God. Rang off that year.
Starang kills that song. Starang bodies. Yeah. And again, like when I was saying that I was graduating from underground to like more commercial rap, to me in middle school, high school, my underground rap was like Wu-Tang boot camp. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't super underground, because I agree with,
right, it wasn't, yeah.
like when I moved to Orlando and like entered college and started mixing around with like a scene of people who like really dug a little deeper into the crust of like hip hop and rap, like I started discovering a whole underground, like,
Yeah, Treasure Trove.
I mean, again, like I remember, random story, but like I used to freestyle over this beat called Atmosphere Beatmosphere like all the time when I was like probably my senior year of high school. And I just thought it was a producer called Atmosphere. And then when I got to college, I was freestyling over some Atmosphere beat, and Red Simpkins was like, "Oh, you fuck with Atmosphere?" And I was like, "Yeah, dope producer, right?" And he was like, "No, like here's the song," like, and like played me like the song, and I was like, "There's a song to this?" Like I've been rapping over this beat for like a year and a half, 2 years, and I just thought this, like, you know, like I didn't know that Ant was a producer, Slow was a rapper, and they were a group called Atmosphere, and kind of like that was like more of my intro to like a lot more underground, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So when this record came out, it got very good reviews. AllMusic gave it 4 out of 5. Entertainment Weekly gave it a B plus. Hip Hop DX gave it 3.5 out of 5. Rolling Stone gave it a 3 out of 5, and later in their Rolling Stone album guide promoted it to a 4 out of 5. Kap, we always like to ask, what was your rating of the album then, and what would you rate it now on the Source 5 mic scale in its current form?
I think back then I probably would have gave the album like 4.5. And like, you know, like I loved this project at the time. Like, you know, like I just like put speakers in my car, and like, you know, like it was like there's certain things that like there's just core memories attached to certain songs that whether or not they're like the best song, they're just connected to certain things that were a lot of dope firsts. And I think now I'd still give it like a 4. You know what I mean? Like I think it's again, the rapping on the project compared to like what commercially was being rapped time, they're rapping their fucking asses off on this project. Like, obviously we're going to start with the intro, but like the intro was what pulled me into like, oh shit, like not only are they like snapping on Grindin, like this is going to be a rappers like project. You know what I mean? And like, so yeah, I keep it at a 4, not to be super drawn out.
Yeah. I think for me at the time, like I said, I fucked with this album, but it didn't mean a lot to me, which sounds like very mean and demeaning, but it's just how I felt. So like, I probably would have given it a 3.5 at the time. And that's honestly where it is for me now. This is not really a record that I go back to a lot. I think I've definitely, in the years since, not that I'm super heavily bumping the Clipse. And again, I'm not in any way saying that I don't fuck with Clipse. I just they do not occupy a lot of space in my radar. But in revisiting and listening to their stuff, I think the second album definitely has more replay value for me, because this record, as somebody mentioned, I think both of you mentioned before, definitely sounds like a 2002 album, and I don't have a lot of deep nostalgia for 2002 because for all the reasons we just said, 2002 is like whatever. So yeah.
Is the second album, is that with Mr. Me Too?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, that was my shit. I like that. That was my joint. I rapped over. Here's the funny shit. I rapped over that beat 50,000 times in my life.
I think Pharrell has definitely given some of his best production to the Clipse as well. Like,
yeah, like,
well, he definitely has, because the fabled story is that so many of the Neptunes productions that you heard huge artists have, the Clipse had it first, and then they'd be like, "Hey, sorry, we got to give this beat to Jay-Z or Ludacris."
Have either of y'all seen the Pharrell Lego movie?
I did.
I thought it was really good, but like it gave some cool little like it's actually a solid movie to like watch or whatever. But yeah, it was cool that they incorporated some of that in there, like with Push.
MidaZ was freestyling to the Mr. Me Too beat, and then somebody had to say to him, because he wasn't listening to Clipse, "There's a song to this." He was like, "There's a song. Clipse is a group? What are you talking about?"
Actually, there's a song on here that we're gonna get to that I very vaguely remember the song, and I super remember the beat. And so it had to be one of those deals too. You know, the thing about 2002 that is really interesting is 2001, 2002, 2003. These are the prime years of Kazaa and, you know, Napster and Audio Galaxy and all the fucking downloading and the IRCs and all that shit. And I was heavy on all those shits, right? So like you would get files that were like wild by downloading these things. Like
mislabeled.
You would get random instrumentals. You would get weird remixes. You'd get weird unreleased stuff. So like, and a lot of times you download folders that who the fuck knows what's in the folder, and it, So
my
like,
favorite one, promo version of N.O.R.E Stillmatic that had barking dogs over every single track.
you know what I mean? You just never know. So I just remember going crazy over Mr. Me Too. And then my other favorite Clipse joint was the joint with Cameron, Popeyes, which is
Popular
crazy.
Demand.
Popular Demand, which is, I love that record.
Is Popular
That was the third
album?
That's on
the third album.
That beat is incredible.
That beat's crazy.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah.
And honestly,
that beat lives in my head a lot. Yeah.
Coke like a caterpillar. I make that butterfly. Like, come on, man. Like Cameron kills that song, bro.
It's
Tell your
good.
mother I'm the other guy that got your mother high. Come on, bro. Cam, he floated on that beat. No pun intended to the butter.
Yes. Well, we're gonna go through. Well, MidaZ, I mean, you said you didn't have an original rating for this album. What's your? I mean, fresh off the memory banks here. What's your evaluation?
You know what? Let's go through it, and I'll do it at the end.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
We're gonna get into it then. We're gonna go through each track one by one. It's a 3-person vote. Takes 2 to keep or cut, and if we reach the end and we have not slimmed it down to 10, we will do a lightning round. So all of these songs, except for one, no, actually all of the songs on this album are produced by Neptunes.
We're doing a 13-track version.
Well, that's the thing. There's what'd you say?
Aren't the other tracks just remixes, right?
Yeah. I don't think there is a version. So there's 2 tracks at the end of this album that are Grindin remixes. I don't think that there is a version. I was looking into this on Discogs. Like, was there ever a version of the album that didn't have the bonus tracks on there? But it seems like Grindin was hot at the time. I don't think that there exists any iteration of this album that doesn't have the 2 bonus tracks. We can listen to them. I don't imagine that anybody is keeping them. I don't know. Do we want to
I didn't consider them when I was going through.
So. I mean, the only thing that's cool about the remixes is that one of them has Lil Wayne and Birdman on it, and we know like the fallout over the past 23 years between those two and that father and son duo has been like massive and created tsunami-sized waves within hip-hop, and no one probably would have expected that from hearing Birdman on a remix or listening to What Happened to That Boy. You know what I mean? Like that really set a standard for certain stuff.
All right, we'll listen to them. We'll go through them.
I was saying they're probably not necessary, but
I will tell you that they're definitely not necessary. But we'll still go through them.
In my opinion,
they're not even what?
Great remixes, in my opinion.
I think that they just understood that they were basically printing money with. Well, we're really skipping it. Now, let's just save it for later. We'll see it when we get to them. But we'll hop into the first track. Yeah, save for track 4. We're gonna hop into the first track. It is the intro, and but it's an actual song. So here we go. You know, it's funny when you were telling me that you wanted to do this album. This probably speaks to how long it had been since I'd heard this album. I was looking at the track list and I was like, yeah, but I mean, like, is this going to be too easy? Because there's an intro, there's like 2 grind remixes. And Kap, you had to remind me, like, no, the intro is like a song.
Yeah.
and then I remembered, and then in listening to this, I
was
like,
one of the best songs. Maybe one of the beat is crazy. Like those bells.
It's really crazy.
And like at the time, and still, admittedly, and I'm a fucking fan of the Clipse, sometimes I still have a hard time telling the difference between Malice and Push. And
wait. Stop for a second. 1,000%. Like,
it's a note on my paper here.
And like, it's an album, and like, obviously, like, I'd always looked up lyrics, but like, this is a rap album I specifically looked up lyrics to because I needed to see which one was Malice and which one was Push. Because a lot of times I would listen to a Malice verse and be like, Push is so much better than Malice, and then I'd be like, oh, that's a Malice verse. That's not a, like, the second verse, like the intro, that was Push, and then the second half of the intro is Malice. I know we're not listening to every full song. Malice also, I want to say on like 90% of every single Clipse songs, Malice goes second. Like, if you like pay attention, like almost every Clipse song, he's the second verse, so it's a little like helpful. But he is snapping on that intro, like it's insane. Like it's blatant, like who's the drug dealer and who's the rapper at certain points. But like Malice is still also a better rapper sometimes too. You know what I mean? Like it's impressive.
I do hear the who's the drug dealer and who's the rapper sometimes. Like I do hear that dichotomy. Except, bro, I quit trying to figure out who was rapping. I have no idea who's rapping on
Malice
anything. They sound exactly alike to me.
Malice is more nasal. That's like the only, like, if you really listen to it, but it's hard, bro. It's hard.
Yeah,
it's like,
tough.
The only thing I can relate it to is like listening to M.O.P. sometimes. I have a really hard time. Like, is this Fame or Billy Dan's right now? And I know, like, you can tell who it is if you're really listening, but if it's just in the background, sometimes it's hard for me to differentiate.
Right.
Especially when it's a new group too. Like it sounds crazy, but even the first time that I heard Little Brother, and it was like literally the first time I was hearing these songs, they're new voices, and sometimes I was like, wait, so who is this rapping right now? Because like you're dealing with multiple personalities, but with Clipse specifically, they just sound so alike. And I think it got a little bit better in the subsequent releases in terms of being able to find out. But
they look
I'll
like
be honest,
brothers. Like it's like
they look like twin brothers, even though there's like a 4-year difference, I want to say, between them.
Yeah, I think maybe 5 or 6, but still, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, all that is to say, my vote is to keep the intro. It's just a great way to set things off. I'm a huge fan of getting right into it. I've worked with both of you guys on your own music in the past, and like something I know that I always suggest to artists, it's like, don't keep the 4-bar intro for the beat. Just come in like with the verse would be incredible. And like I love that this is the first sound you hear on this record is a voice. On the
in the cane and guns.
Right.
I tell you, if that's your opening line of your project, I'm showing up. Like,
yeah. So my vote is to keep the intro. That's my vote.
Yeah, my vote is to keep it too. Like I said, starts crazy, Pusha goes off. You know, I thought Push, I could tell them apart on this one. Maybe it's because Push said his name. But Push goes off, and he I think he got it on this one. He went crazy. And I like, I like joints where I think I like them best when they're not trying to make this is gonna sound crazy, but when they're not trying to make a song, when they're just rapping, I kind of like them best. So the way that they came in and just kind of got busy, fire beats crazy, keep.
Kap, vote or keep?
Keep, yeah. It's one of my favorite intros, like, ever. It's great. I think it's amazing that, like, I'm, like, not, like, in love with this project, but I do enjoy it a lot. You're directly in the middle, and MidaZ is like, yeah. You know, like, it's the perfect mix of talking heads for this, you know?
Yeah. You will relate to someone in this episode if you're listening or watching this.
Yeah,
we've got you
possibly
covered.
Hate one of us too. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I might like it too much.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna hop into track 2. The song is called "Young Boy."
So I think this is when I fell in love with coke rap. I think that's like the more that like I'm like every single song for the most part is like either a story about your parents catching you sell coke or like a story about you selling, like, but like it's with they just do it well. I'm like, again, and go ahead. Sorry, but yeah.
No. Go speak your piece.
And it's another beat that I just don't think I really heard many rappers rap over a beat like this. I know Past the Cavassier came probably right after this, which is kind of similar with those like burn, 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 kind of like, upbeat horn sections, but like maybe Mystical on Danger, but I don't know if that came out before or after this. Also Neptunes production, but this was just like not what I was used to hearing, especially with the subject matter, like this was like very pop sounding production with I'm telling you about selling dope, you know, like, which I was just like, fuck yeah, like I'm here for that, you know?
Yeah, that dichotomy is actually weird to me, right? So like when I coming up, like I'm listening to G rap and I'm listening to Cuban Links, and this is where I'm getting my coke rap from, and there's a sinisterness to the to cocaine selling that
Yeah.
I had in my head. You know what I'm saying? This makes cocaine selling. The raps still fit the sinisterness. The beats make it sound like fucking let's go to Disney World and sell cocaine.
Or
And I'm
Miami.
like,
Or Miami.
okay, or Miami, right? But like my brain can't comprehend it. I'm like, it's like when you order a ginger ale or you order a Coca-Cola at McDonald's and they hand you the shit and then you go to take a sip and it's Sprite. And your whole fucking brain is like, what the fuck? Like, because in your head, I'm definitely about to taste Coke, and I definitely taste Sprite. Fucks your whole thought process up. That's kind of what this track did to me. I don't love the in the background. I kind of hate it. And then also, my other thing was, now this is early in the album, but then there's a couple more. I remember listening to it the other day and I'm thinking to myself, so they're just going to have like 5 come up stories on the album? Like, this is going to like every song is going to be when I grew up, this is what happened. Like, and then my mom said, I was like, damn, every song is going to do this. So that was where my brain was. This one, I'm going to jump right off the bridge out the gate, was a cut for me. The Pharrell hook I'm good on. I kind of feel like when you keep hearing that, because I've heard this too, the whole thing with the Clipse where they're like, oh man, we had the opportunity for like all these other beats, but I kind of feel like, yeah, I think y'all let a lot of the good ones go away, and y'all kind of fucked with some of the ones that aren't as good as some of the good ones. Like that was my take versus the other side of it where it's like, nah, but we got the joints that I kind of feel like the joints went out the door.
Well, I don't think it was their choice. I think a lot of times it was just like, hey, you guys might have killed this beat, but Jay-Z's gonna give us, fucking $500,000 for this beat. Sorry.
Right. And guess what? Jay-Z didn't pick this one.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Jay-Z picked the one that he picked. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pretty sure that he heard a bunch of the other shits too.
I think
he's like, yeah, you know what? I'm kind of straight on that one.
I think Grindin was originally for Hove.
Oh man, well, he fucked up on that one.
And then one thing that you made me think a little, like when you mentioned G-Rap, you mentioned, who else did you say? Was it Raekwon? Like as far as Coke Rap. So like I would say like Raekwon and G-Rap, even like Biggie, it was Coke Rap. It was crack rap, but it was a cautionary tale. I think this is one of the first times I heard rappers rapping about coke and making it sound fun. Like I was like,
no, that's a fact.
You know what I mean? Like, I was like, yo, like selling, like, I mean, I was selling weed at the time in high school, and like I was like, all right, it ain't coke, but like, yeah,
but I'm out here.
like it definitely like the vibe was like, all right, like I guess this is how they sell dope in Virginia Beach. Like they have fun doing it instead of like, like I know how it feels to wake up fucked up. Like it's like, no, like this is like I'm celebratory enjoying selling this cocaine. And like I was just, again, I'm here for it,
It's funny. It's funny because to that point, not only does the music make it sound like selling cocaine is loads of fun for the whole family, but even lyrically, they're kind of talking about that selling cocaine was something that you did with the whole family, that they either discovered their parents or that they were doing it. Or,
the key.
Yeah. So MidaZ is cutting Kap. I'm assuming that you're keeping.
Yeah,
you didn't. So I'm going to vote to keep it as well. I really like this beat. I think it's fun. I couldn't really hear anybody else rapping on this. And again, to MidaZ's point, I'm not even sure that Clipse really fit on this beat with what they're rapping about versus what the sound of the beat is. But I love the drums. I love the pattern of it. At this point, Pharrell could do no wrong for me. And you get a lot of Pharrell on this track. it's I think it's a great fun way to start the album out. Again, it's a little puzzling because it's not fun subject matter, but this is
fun
a
matter for
You're
the
right.
whole family.
For the whole family, yeah. And I even like I can understand in a way that MidaZ, you'd said like you kind of were good on the fact that like you're out of line, like the vocal part. But to me, that was again such a fun thing that the Neptunes were doing, where they were recreating. Yeah, well, yeah, but to me, it reminds me more of just like samples. It's like sometimes when producers would flip samples, there would be a vocal part that was in the break, and it would be in there, and it was just kind of because it was in there. They couldn't really take it out. This is like a deliberate choice to actually keep it in, and they were doing their own version of sort of paying homage to a lot of the sounds of production, but doing it in their own way. So yeah, this is a key for me. We're gonna move on to track number 3. The song is Virginia.
I'll set them off. So the beat was dark. It's kind of like the darkest Neptunes beat I've ever heard, which kind of worked for me because I'm like, that was a little unexpected, from especially coming out of Youngboy. That was super unexpected because Youngboy to me sounds like the prettiest fucking beat ever. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then it goes into Virginia, which is kind of dark. Hook is fire on this joint. Malice went off. I think I got it right on that one. Malice went off.
One of them went off. One of them went off.
Malice is second on this one.
There you go. And he went off. One Clipse observation that I have right quick. I'll be succinct with it, but one Clipse observation that I have, and as I listened to the album, I started to pick up on some of the tropes of like, why didn't I fuck with this? Why didn't I? And not when I say didn't fuck with it, why didn't I
gravitate to
explore it more?
Yeah.
Back then, why did I kind of just let it pass by me? There's a couple things that happen on this record that are anti-MidaZ moves, on the album. One of them is I never really liked when rappers would rap with like what I call like acting vocal inflections, right? So like when you're rapping and you're like, so what happened? We came in the spot today, but like like when you're doing all that shit, like you're in a movie, I never was really with the shit because for me,
you love Prodigy,
right? And but for me, rappers
does that often.
Well, you said who does often?
Method Man definitely does that often.
But Meth has a cool voice. So that eliminates the bullshit that comes with it. Like part of it is a cool voice, right? And then on top of that, so like it's kind of two things that draw from each other because I don't think either one of them has a really quote unquote cool voice. But when you start to do those inflections, it kind of pulls me out a little bit because that's like I always like my rappers to sound like older people I wish I could hang out with. You know what I'm saying? Because they hella cool, right? And I think that part kind of throws me a little bit when it happens. This song in particular, it happens a bunch of times on this particular song. With that being said, I like this particular song. This particular song is crazy. I thought Malice went all the way off. And
it's
I was
one
just
of his
like, I was like, yo, this dude right here. And then so like, I listened to the new Clipse album, which I think they rap so much better all these years in the future, which they should. Like people should get better. But I can see the impetus of like, because I was just telling somebody the other day, the way I rapped in 05 was cosplay for what I really wanted to do. And I probably didn't, I told Czar, actually, I was talking to Czar on Wordsworth. I don't think that I learned how to like rap for real until like 15. Mind you, I'm rapping since I'm 11. You know what I'm saying? So like, it took me all the way to 2015 to be like, oh, this is what I've been trying to do. And this is, okay, I got some mastery over my delivery and my cadence a little bit. And like, oh, I see. So everything before that, I'm just trying to figure this shit out. and I'm trying different flows, and I'm trying different. Do I rap up here with my tone? Do I rap down here with my tone? Like, I'm trying to figure all that shit out. So I can hear and listening to these two albums, this one for the first time, the new one for the first time within the same 2-week span. Like, I can hear that dichotomy like real crazy. With that being said, the words are there. And that's something that's really interesting about that, even learning how to rap thing. When I say that to people, they don't understand. And they're like, oh, you had joints back in the day where your rhymes were crazy. The rhymes were always crazy. The Clipse, the rhymes are, all these rhymes are crazy on the whole album. The rhymes are crazy. It's the rapping that's a different thing because you get better with your control and your, all that type of stuff. So little side rant, but to me, this is a major key. This joint is probably one of my favorite joints on the album.
Hell yeah. I like what you say about cosplaying yourself too. If you do listen to this project, and then you listen to the newest project, it almost sounds like they're aspiring to be the men that they are on the new album.
Facts.
Yeah,
Facts.
I 100% get what you're saying. That was super accurate. Yeah. Sean, me, you.
Go ahead, Kap. You got it.
Good.
Beat is stupid. The beat is like
stupid.
Like I like darker. Like, obviously I've got like a lighter, happier side to me, but like I'm pretty fucking dark rapper also. Like, like it's most of my shit is like on the verge of like horrorcore sometimes. So like hearing production like this, there's another song by the Clipse, Pharrell and Bilal called Nightmares on their second album that like is also just like gloomy and eerie and dark, and it's one of their best tracks. This might be my favorite MidaZ verse of all time. I remember hearing
he goes crazy.
I remember hearing this verse and literally getting goosebumps. Like, it's like, yo, like you are really talking that shit on this project. So yeah, it's an easy keep for me. I think it's a standout song, and especially being from Virginia, to have a song called Virginia and it's this fucking hard. Like, if I had a song called Florida and it was just like this, I'd be like, all right, I've done the right thing. Like I've captured the essence of this. And like they really like, if you're trying to personify like the darkness of where we're from, because when I think Virginia, I don't think dark and fucked up. But this like brings you, it's cool if you look at the flow of the album. Like you start with Young Boy, like how you were saying, these come up stories, and then it's like, well, where are they from? Oh, like I get it now. Like, so like again, really, really great track in my opinion. That's a keep.
Yeah, it's a keep for me as well. I don't have a lot to add that you guys didn't already say, but I do. It is so interesting to hear a record from this era where you almost had to justify the fact that you were not from New York or Los Angeles, or I guess like Atlanta by this point. Like that they had to, kind of wave the flag and let people know and talk about where they were from, even though to the point that we just made, by this point, there's a reason why Pharrell named his festival Something in the Water, because it's just crazy to think that all of these people were coming out of there and doing some really crazy shit. But to your point, outside of Missy, there wasn't anybody who was hitting in such a big way. And, Timbaland and Mad Skills and anybody else who had come out, they weren't necessarily painting a like dark picture of, like the seedy underbelly of America and drug dealing and violence and stuff like that. So it was cool to hear that. It's interesting because this doesn't really sound like a Neptunes beat to me. I mean, I guess it kind of does, but it's it definitely it's them trying their hand at a style that they didn't always do, which was kind of more kind of murky sounding stuff. Like, I feel like if like this is the Neptunes like cosplaying like a Mobb Deep beat, Yeah. They're never gonna do something that sounds like Mobb Deep, but this is like their version of it, with like keyboards and those kind of like snappy live sounding drums. But I like it. It's a dope song. It's a keep for me. So we got a unanimous keep on the board. So far, all keeps here. I mean, we'll see. We're gonna have to start cutting some soon. It's probably not going to be this next one. The song is Grindin. That's one of the best.
It's like those ones, by the way. So, but still, I can't swear I won't change. I'm off on that whole cadence, but
I love that. I love that.
See,
I love
it's the cadence of it that, not the line, but the cadence of it. I just heard it. So, but go ahead, Sean.
Question, is this the intro of like nasal rappers being more popular? Like mixtape Wayne starting to come into the fold at that time, which is like the more respected Wayne, where like in a year or two he's about to drop the Carter. And like and then like if you go into super nasal rappers, it's the Drakes, the Kendricks, like it's almost like setting a tone. Like it used to be very deep rappers were like the standard as far as voices. I do feel like around this time, even though Nelly's not even nasal, he's more like smooth, but he's high pitched. And like I feel like people were getting a little more open to tones instead of like my rap must be darker from like a person who just an observation, sorry.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. I could totally see that for sure. Yeah, I mean, obviously, shout out to like Cypress Hill. You know, like they sort of planted the flag early with the nasal raps, but this was obviously hitting in a way that was way more popular and later. You know, almost a decade later.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is. I feel like so much has been said about this song and this beat, but I just have to like sort of paint the picture that Pharrell and Chad Hugo are some of the greatest hip hop producers of all time. And like you cannot deny it. That they may not get thrown into the conversation because they're so different from all of the other greats. They're, you know, it feels weird. They're almost in a different category than a DJ Premier or, you know, a RZA or you know, a Pete Rock. But this is just like a really innovative, interesting take on a beat. And even like though there is the drums, and it is primarily just drums, and it is even just stock drum sounds in the Triton keyboard, I want to say. You know, it's not like they did any kind of crazy thing. They just took a preset that was in the keyboard and used it to make a beat. But even that little like melodic, you know, in the video, it's Pharrell tapping his cheek. It just was crazy. And to remembering seeing the video for this, it reminds me, I was just talking to somebody the other day about the first time that I saw the music video for Juvenile's Ha. And it was like, what is this? Like, this seems like it's another planet. I've never seen this before. Like, that's how I felt in seeing this video. It was, the music is so stark that it really makes you pay attention to the MCs. And then in the case of the music video, just the visuals that they're showing. And it was just such a gripping moment. And I can't hear this. Regardless of, again, I've already kind of revealed that I don't necessarily revere Clipse as MCs, although I do think that they are very good, but they don't occupy a lot of real estate in my head. But to me, this is just as much a Pharrell song as it is anybody else. And, you know, the first N.O.R.E album came out, I think, the year prior or like around this time, the In Search Of record. And that album was super, super important in my life. And it was just hearing a song like this kind of, it's good every time somebody comes along who clearly understands the rules, but defiantly breaks the rules and defiantly sort of goes against the grain. And Grindin is that. I love this. It's a classic to me. So absolutely, it's a keep.
Kallous?
I agree. It's one of those ones. It's kind of like a definitive like rap song. Like as far as like the production is insane. It's like Sean said, there's so much has been said about the song, so I don't want to be like drawn out about it. But like, yeah, it's obviously a keep to me. You know, like production, something that we'd never heard before, and like I do think that without the video, and honestly, even without Pharrell speaking on the beginning of this song, it may not have been as big. You know what I mean? Like, yes, like the beat is stupid, but would it have traveled and gotten as much distance without Pharrell just even doing that iconic like intro on the beginning of that song? And I do think that like there's, you know, one other single where he does that on, which is probably their second single, and it's like this is so intentional. Like, and I love like how like it's like, yo, like not only do I have this beat that like I could really put Jay-Z or Beanie Siegel or any of these other people that I'm like, you know, shooting fire stuff to around the 2000s, and anyone's gonna snap on this beat. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter, but I'm gonna pick these two people from my home state, from where I'm from, that I've known forever, and I'm gonna introduce the world to you, like these two people, and like really let them shine because I believe in them. And like he really put like I don't think he put his career on the line because Pharrell was going to be Pharrell whether this song blew up or not. But he put everything that he could do to promote his homies into this song, and it worked. And I think that's dope.
And it's also dope too because Clipse had put out an album on Elektra and they got dropped. You know, they had
got
come
shelved,
out,
right?
It got shelved and they got dropped from the label. So like, it must have been a really important thing for them all personally that one of their own did blow up, you know, with the Neptunes blowing up, and then they didn't, that they did look out and that they did prop them back up, because to be dropped from the label and to have your album shelved is such a devastating thing. There was like a song, I think it was called The Funeral, that was like their single that came out like 98 or 99. Yeah, and like it didn't really go, and then they were just like, well, the Clipse is not a thing. So, you know, it's just cool. You like to see it, you know, where people bring the homies along for the ride. And it never felt like Clipse were like the weed carriers of the crew. It's not like, oh yeah, I'm on, and like, you know, these are the little homies. Like they earned their spot. It was deserved for them to get a second chance.
Yeah, I think it's obviously it's a keep. I have a lot more appreciation for this song in 2025 than I did in 2002. But you know, a big part of this was just, and you know, I think that's what's really dope about the pod that we do and the way that we talk about music, because so much of this is in relation to where you were and what you were doing and what was where your life was at when these things happened. And then to be able to talk about, you know, the music from the perspective of where I was, and then be able to talk about music from the perspective of where you're at is a really fun dichotomy, because back in 2002, my brain wasn't primed for this shit. And what made it worse was that everybody around me thought it was the greatest shit ever. And I was just like, yo, fuck all you dudes. Like, y'all don't know shit.
Yeah.
And then I'm wilding. I'm still saying, like, I look at 2001 and 2002 MidaZ, and I laugh at that guy, because I was just like, what? Have you heard the new Cannabis album, the Mike Club Curriculum? Like, like shit that was just like, what are you fucking talking about, bro? Like,
that old digging your heels in the sand resistance.
Yeah, bro, just being extra for no fucking reason. Just like, yo, like, nah, man, it's not that, it's this. Like, you know, like just being contrarian for contrarian purposes in most cases, I think. So, like, even just the ability to be open to it. The first time that I caught myself doing that, like for real, like where you had to like catch yourself. It's almost like when somebody makes a when you've said like, yo, I don't eat tuna fish, bro. I don't eat tuna fish. Like, I don't fuck with tuna fish at all. And then like, it's really because you had one experience with tuna fish and it didn't work that time. But then, you know, one day somebody's like, yo, but try this tuna fish though. Like, just try it. And then you try it and you're like, man, this is really good. But you're so feet dug in the sand that you're like, this shit trash too, bro. Like, I hate it. And then like you go into your own room and you're like, fuck, that was delicious. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of that's where I was at with like, there were a lot of things that I was like, oh shit. But there was a lot of things that rolled that way. Dipset was that for me. Like, I was outside. Yo, man, you know, like, yo, this dirty South New York music doesn't work for me. But like, every time I'd hear something, I'd be like, this is kind of fire though. Like, what? Like, but I couldn't say that outside because I was locked into what I was locked into. I feel like with Grindin, there's a little bit of that too. Like, I just forced myself to be anti this song because I was just like, you know, in that space. But listening to it, even just now, Sean, while you were playing it, it's like, it's dumb hard. You know what I'm saying? It's dumb hard. Like, it's so creative. It's so counter whatever was, not just whatever was happening, it's counter whatever's happened. So, you know what I mean? It was crazy.
So, spoiler alert, we're keeping grinding. We're going to move on to, and all the remixes get to stay as well. Yeah, everybody gets a ride. We're moving on to track 5, Hot Damn, featuring Ab-Liva and Rosco P. Coldchain. Best name in hip hop? I think so. Woo.
Hey, that beat's crazy. The bass line on that shit is wild. That beat's crazy. That's a beat that I could see Jay and all of them being like, "Oh, you ain't played that one for me, bro." Like that one's crazy. Major key. That one is crazy. I didn't know shit about. Wasn't it Ab-Liva?
Oh, Major Figures.
I didn't know.
Major Figures, yeah, from Philly.
I didn't know shit, and he went all the way off. Verse wild, you know what I mean? Like stupid. So yeah, big key for me. That's hook is crazy. Classic Pharrell. You know what I mean? Like it's everything works on that. That's a big key.
Yeah, it's a keep for me as well. It's dark, it's sinister. The drums are just popping, and this is one of those things that they'll probably never reveal, like what the division of labor was amongst the Neptunes. But like the conventional wisdom is that Pharrell kind of did a lot of the drums on the early stuff, and that Chad was doing more of the keyboards and the chords and stuff like that. But in a way, like I think the fact that they both have like a tambourine shaking throughout the whole thing, this is kind of like the sister beat to Youngboy to me. Like they kind of have the same kind of like pocket and swing, but this is a way better beat, I think, than Youngboy. It's just harder. And it was super dope to hear different voices on some of these beats after hearing two MCs that are kind of identical sounding. To have some other personalities thrown in the mix, I think was a cool welcome change. The only thing that I always wondered about is that this song is alternately has been called Hot Damn and Cot Damn. And I don't know what the reason is. Like, it's not like cot or hot is like a questionable word, to my knowledge, that they would have to like create an alternate version for. But I believe when
what's on the back of the CD, Sean? You worked at the spot.
I mean, if you gave me a couple minutes, I could pull it out. But I think it is Hot Damn. But I think when they did the video, I think it was called Cot Damn, or I might have this reversed, but I don't know. I'm not sure why.
Could it be a mess up at like B or BET that someone just typed the wrong thing and put Hot Damn? Especially because Hot in Here was the biggest song in the country when this came out. So maybe there's a mix up there.
Maybe. Or maybe they wanted to like differentiate so that people didn't accidentally play Hot in Here when they meant to play Hot. Look, if you have the answer, if you worked in radio in the early 2000s, drop a comment, let us know. But anyway, yeah, this is a keep for me.
I'm a fan of the song. I've rapped over the beat multiple times. It's not, I don't know if this was my introduction to Ab-Liva or not, but like MidaZ was saying, hearing another voice, and especially how dynamic Ab-Liva's voice is.
Yeah.
Same thing with Rosco P. Coldchain. Like his flow was almost something that I'd never heard before. Because he's got this like almost like down south sugar-free type flow that's like conversational and really fast, where he packs a lot into his bars. So it was an introduction to two really interesting MCs. And I feel like at that age, that was one thing that always stood out to me. Like, even if it was hearing AZ for the first time on Illmatic, like, way before this, like when you hear a new rapper that's actually like, oh, this person's dope, like I'm going to check out their shit. Like that was an exciting time. And these were two people that I was not familiar with at the time. And I became fans of both of them. And this is your introduction to 3/4 of Re-Up Gang. You know what I mean? Which is like their mixtapes. I don't know, MidaZ, if you've heard a Re-Up Gang mixtape, but like as far as like bar work, some of the better mixtapes from that time.
Oh, crazy shit.
Crazy. Like really just great MCs.
Why I thought, because I was listening to this and I didn't have the track list pulled up when I was listening in the car. Why I thought this was Killer Mike when I was first listening to this shit. I was like, oh shit, they got Killer Mike on the album? That's fire. I was shocked when it wasn't Killer Mike. I was like, oh shit, this ain't Killer Mike. All right, no doubt.
I have a live update here via Complex. The original name for the record was Goddamn, but they changed it to Cot Damn because there was controversy. They wanted to make sure that the record got played in the Bible Belt. That still doesn't explain why Hot Damn is thrown into the mix. But
in the Bible
anyway,
Belt specifically,
we need those spins.
You know, they were from the South. Yeah, they were from the South. They knew what it was. All right,
they also come
regardless of
sorry.
No, it's fine.
A religious family, yeah. So like that could be part of it. Like
yeah, but I mean, if you're going to be about that, like, I think that there's a boatload of other things that maybe they would have censored themselves on. Like, we draw the line.
So
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we're all keeping it. We're going to move on to track number 6. This was also a single from the record featuring Faith Evans. It's Ma, I Don't Love Her.
Again, I know it's Faith Evans, but I always just in my head have this as Khalees because she's like part of like Star Trek. I'm always just like, yeah, like a Khalees and Clipse song. And like, I feel like there's gotta be a demo of Khalees demoing this like before like, is it not, it's Faith Evans. Yeah. And like the irony that blatantly I don't know if you guys hear, not in the voice, but there's a lot of Biggie in the flow with Malice and Push, like a lot. So I find it interesting that like the one singer that they have a collaboration with is Faith Evans. Like it's just interesting. That being said, I think it's a great single, but if you're rounding out an album, I could take it off. And that's just me being like hypercritical. I think the bar work, great. A catchy hook, sure. The beat reminds me of that Common and Erykah Badu joint that probably came out around the same time. That's also produced by the Neptunes. It's just like a slower version of this beat. But yeah,
come close.
Yeah, but I can chop it just because like it doesn't necessarily fit the album either. If you look at the other track.
It's a cut for me. It rings. This song rings like for like a legitimate version of what I was fake talking about before, which is this rings as everything I hated in 2002. It's from the beat to the hook to the rap. Like again, the bar work is there, but the rapping I'm not that hype on either for this particular joint. And this seems like the kind of shit. Like I feel like content aside, I instantly got a 106 in Park fucking jolt in my shoulder. And I was just like, oh man, like
106 volts.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I got shot with the 106 in Park bullet. And I feel like sometimes you hear a beat and you're like, man, this would have been a really dope Nelly song. You know what I'm saying? Like Nelly would have got this beat and then this would have made more sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Like it would have sat a different way and it would have hit a little different. You know what's interesting is that when you've got a producer like Pharrell or as the Neptunes as like your producers, you can't not like you're gonna have to have records like because these dudes make big records. You know what I'm saying? So like you're gonna, I don't hate the fact that they have this type of joint on the album and they tried to cocaine it up as much as they could, but it is what it is. So for me, it's a cut, but I understand its placement. Faith Evans rings as like oh man, we got to have a single. You know what we should get? Faith. I feel like Faith has done that for a lot of artists throughout the years where it's just like, I feel like maybe she's, and this is no disrespect, I love Faith Evans, but I feel like maybe she's easy to get. Like, you might look at your budget and be like, all right, we need a single. We can't get Mariah Carey. You know what I'm saying? But like, I think we can get Faith. You know what I'm saying? And then like, you just get Faith. So, cause there's a lot of really random rap songs where like Faith is the hook and you're like, and then, there's a lot of female R&B artists that could have been, and it's almost always Faith. Like, how does this end up? So I wonder what the deal with that is. But yeah, to me, this is a cut.
I think it's because A, she's accessible, and B, like she's kind of able to play like a almost utility like role where it's like you're not getting strong personality. She's just there to represent the female melody hook, but it's not like she's got like the definitive like, oh, she's putting that Faith sauce on it. It's just
yeah.
She's there to sing the hook. And
yeah.
like, yeah. I mean, what's interesting is first of all, I agree with everything that you just said, that both of you said. It just represents the antithesis of everything that I like, and it feels very much like pandering.
Yeah.
I'd say that like 38% at least of my dislike of the song is the shaker and how loud it is. It's like like that commercial ass like radio hit, like, you know, shaker. And the song wasn't a hit. I just was looking. It peaked at number 86 on the Hot 100. So it's
I
not
didn't
even
remember
like
that it was a single. I don't think I ever heard it until
there was a video that, yeah, it was
It
a
might
thing,
be the
but
one
you know,
video I've never seen. You know,
yeah, it is not essential, and it kind of hurts even more when you see a group do something that's clearly like a commercial play and it doesn't work. You know, it
Yeah.
didn't even succeed. It's ironic that for all the criticism that Clipse gets about only rapping about cocaine, they make a song that isn't about cocaine, and we're kind of like, get this out of here. Like, you know,
Yeah,
this
don't
doesn't
work.
work. But you know, it and it's also like one of those. What's interesting about it, at least, is that like they weren't coming out on some like super like I need love like song for the girls shit. The song is kind of about like, hey, don't pay attention to this side piece. Like I
Yeah.
don't love her, you know. But
Yeah.
it just there's not a. We talk about this a lot, MidaZ. Like, when do you play this? Like, what is this appropriate for? Like, I don't want to hear it, and I don't think it necessarily appeals to the women that it would be aimed at. So like, who is this for? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not for me. It's not for us. We are
Well,
cutting it.
they bank on the fact that women at the time, and you know, hey, again, no disrespect, but women don't be caring what people be rapping about. They just care about the beat, like as a whole, right? So like that's why there's so many disrespectful ass women songs that women love. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
For
they don't
sure.
be giving a shit. But you know, as a whole, like, hey, the beat is really dope and the hook is dope. Like, we didn't give a fuck. That happened a lot, especially in this era. There was a lot of those super like. Did you actually hear what he said? He actually said all women are trash and you bottom of my feet. And they're like, yeah, but the beat. I'm like, wow, that's kind of crazy. But yeah, this one we could do without.
Song "We Don't Love You." You're out of here.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move on to track number 7. It's the FamLay Freestyle featuring FamLay. All right, I'm gonna kick this off. A few years back, Mad Skills and I did the Questions and Confessions tour. We were doing a live game and podcast episode of his podcast, Hip Hop Confessions, and mine. We did shows in Virginia. We went to Virginia Beach. FamLay was our guest. He hosted us. Amazing show. It's an archive. You can listen to the episode. It's from a couple of years back, where we interviewed FamLay. We did trivia with FamLay. Got so many dope stories about Star Trek and the Neptunes with FamLay. It was super dope. So I say all this to say, shout out to FamLay. Appreciate you. It's all love. I will say, just from the economy of this is a Clipse album, and we're trying to trim it to 10 songs, I would vote to cut this song because it's really something that was very popular at this time where you're, you know, Kap, you mentioned earlier, things are intentional, things are strategic. You're trying to set up the dynasty here, right? And so this is somebody who is going to be on the label, and you're kind of setting up who's next. And this is really kind of more of a interlude. They call it a freestyle on here. It's not even, you know, a song per se. So my vote is to cut the FamLay Freestyle, but I just got to, you know, step out in front of it and say peace to FamLay. No shots fired here.
All the shots fired. I hate everything about this song. Everything. Raps, beat. I hate the fact that it's titled FamLay Freestyle. I hate every joint on an album that's titled Freestyle. Like my guy, you could call it anything, because here's the thing: it's a song. It's not a song. It inhabits a track's space. Call it whatever. FamLay forever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the fuck you want to call it. But everything about this song I hate. I hate it. I know a rapper, I'm not gonna say his name. Maybe he listens. Who raps like FamLay. And I never really listened to FamLay, so I didn't know he rapped like FamLay until I heard FamLay on this. And I think this rapper that I know, is not that good. And I never could put my finger on why I thought he was not that good. And then I heard this and I was like, he fucking raps like this guy. Like, this is, I think both of them are not that good. They rap like each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, no beef, no disrespect in that way, but I just don't think it's very good. To be fair, I've never heard any other FamLay.
He doesn't have a lot of material out there. He was kind of more behind the scenes and like good friends with Pharrell and Chad. Yeah, of course. But I'm just saying you're not missing out on a huge body of material because it doesn't really exist in like an official capacity.
I remember FamLay being a thing. I do remember that, but I don't think I've ever heard anything. This is probably the first thing, not the first thing that I've ever heard, but probably the first thing that I heard that I know is him. It didn't ring off for me. I was like, oh man, get this all the way the fuck out of here. Now, part of this is probably 70% of it, to even give FamLay more credit, is how much I hate that beat. I hate it. 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 Like, this sounds like, that beat sounds like it was like the Neptunes like, all right, let's cosplay like Bling Bling. But like, let's make Bling Bling the Neptunes version, you know? And it's like, it is a odd choice. To me, it sticks out like a sore thumb on the whole record. So I'm all the way out on this shit. Kap died.
Kap just left. Kap was like, look, I can't.
Kap hates this so much. He bounced.
Kap just went to go cover his FamLay tattoo that he had to make sure that doesn't appear in the.
Got FamLay fan club tattooed across my chest.
Hey, FamLay, I don't want no smoke, bro, but it's not my favorite shit.
So, was FamLay locked up when this album came out? I feel like that was the case.
I don't think
wrong. Maybe it was Rosco. Maybe it was Rosco P. Coldchain. One of them.
I think you're thinking of Rosco.
Okay.
I don't think FamLay was imprisoned.
So that being said, this was basically like, let me promote the homie, like kind of thing. I always looked at it like an interlude that I skipped over. I'm cool with it not being on the project.
We all feel the same.
Yeah, not my favorite.
Various ways.
Doesn't necessarily fit the project.
Got it. All right, we're going to move on to track number 8. This was also a single from the album. It is When the Last Time.
The beat is one of my favorite Neptunes beats, possibly, as far as like club production from them. You know what I mean? And like really, really good grimy raps over like club Neptunes production. I'm there for it. Like, this is for a second single, it's fucking great. You know what I mean? And like, it kind of solidified that like, oh, okay, this group's not going to be a one-hit wonder with Grindin. Is kind of how I look at it. Like, it's one of those songs where it's like, all right, like, like the hook, you can say like, maybe it's like very basic, but it's also like, we're literally describing what this song is like. So like, this is our club song. Like, just how the Faith Evans ones is like, this is the girl song. Like, this is the club song. Like, if you didn't know, like, this is it. And I think, like, again, for a second single, and as far as production and presentation, it fits the project. I'd keep it.
Yeah, it's 100% a keep for me as well. I think you were alluding to this earlier on the Grindin. There was something also just so exciting about Pharrell announcing that this is Star Trek, like the new label. It was like, oh my God. Now, caveat being, Star Trek as a label maybe didn't really live up to the hype and the promise that like it sort of, you might have expected. There weren't a lot of breakout stars from Star Trek compared to everybody they were signing. A lot of the promise of what, the Neptune sound was going to deliver didn't really pan out that way. Come at me if you feel like Clones is like a masterpiece, but it has some good songs, but it's they didn't become a major force, but they didn't need to because the Neptunes themselves were a major force. I love this song. I love this beat. the beat, Pharrell is like obviously a student of like Q-Tip and native tongues. A lot of people don't know this, but this is a replay of a beat of a Jungle Brothers song from their second album done by the Forces of Nature. It's JB's Coming Through. So it's kind of like an homage, like replay of that beat. But it's so dope. It kind of reminds me of like what T.I. did, with What You Know, where like it was like a Roberta Flack replay, not really a sample. It just like such a cool take on like sampling or interpolating. But this is a keep. This is when I think of this album, I think of Grinding first, and then I think of this song second, because it's just absolute heat. Keep for me.
Yeah, super keep. Sounds like this, from a production standpoint, it reminds me a lot of Hot in Here. It's got a lot of Hot in Here energy to it, and I mean it's as good a beat. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a really crazy beat. And of course, I know maybe we're not giving enough Malice and Push, and like they rhyme on everything. You know what I'm saying? So like they get busy on everything. So I want to make sure to give them love on that. But this is great, and it is a prototypical hit record. You know what I'm saying? So like it hits all the tropes. But even as a hit record, like it doesn't necessarily sound forced. Like that the Model Lover sounds forced. This don't sound forced. It sounds like it's a joint that they did. It had to be, let's do this joint, and then it's a hit record. You know what I mean? So I think it's dope. Keep.
One thing I'd say is they're really good at staying on topic. Like if you listen to these verses, there's no filler lines. Every line's about being in the fucking club. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't even know if there's any coke rap on this song. Like I don't really think there is. And like I know that's like you shouldn't be applauding rappers for doing what they're supposed to do, but in 2025, like you might have to. And like even with Ma I Don't Love Her, like at least it's like a testament to rapping. Like y'all stay on subject. You're gonna have punchlines. You're gonna have like dope little quotables. Even if the song's not great, y'all understand emceeing. So yeah, it's a great point, MidaZ. They show up on every song.
Totally. All right, we're gonna move on to track number 9. The song is called Ego. I can feel how bothered MidaZ is by the inflections in this verse. Knowing what I know now, I can hear MidaZ's dissatisfaction louder than the verse itself. I just had to point that out.
It's visual.
The inflections are tough for me.
It's visual as well.
Yeah, the inflections are tough. I will say though, I love the flow on the opening verse. The flow is crazy. It's just the inflections so Sean, you know another version of that is like I hate Lauryn Hill backups. So there's her main vocal, but her backup is always like some other pitch and drawn out, and it's like stuff like that are just things that like stick in my ear crawl, whatever. But I think this joint is crazy though. Inflections aside, this joint is crazy. The patterns are crazy. But there's something about Pharrell.
I know what you're gonna say.
Sing whispering gun talk that I'm just kind of not with the shits. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like you're gonna shoot me, like you're not gonna shoot me. Not singing, you're not gonna shoot me. Like that's not happening. So that part is kind of, and then like then the random girl who backs you up to say whatever you're saying, like that's kind of weird too. But those artistic choices aside, I think the joint is dope, and I wanted to keep it.
It is also kind of a strange, like, pseudo threat to say that the semi-automatic is known to jam, but if it doesn't,
that's your ass.
That's your ass. It's just putting a lot of emphasis on like what would save them, I guess. Like I'm not a tough guy, but I just feel like in Tough Talk 101, like maybe that's not like the best thing to lead into. You want to maybe lead more with like, I'm going to shoot you, not like there's a possibility that this might work out for you. but if it doesn't, you're in trouble. One thing I'm gonna say this: my vote is to cut this song. I don't really like it. The beat kind of just has never really jived with me in the right way. It's been just a little. There's something about it that's corny to me, and I can't explain why, but I just never really got into it. But listening to this song, something you said earlier, MidaZ, about this song reminded me of it. It's not just on this song. I feel so grateful that like rappers eventually figured out you didn't have to go so heavy on the double tracks and the ad libs.
Oh man,
like,
it's one of the great things that we've done.
Yeah. It's like it's truly one of the greatest breakthroughs in like civilization. Like
it is.
And I don't know if it's a technology thing or if it is just a trend thing that like we sort of stepped away from it. But hearing a lot of these songs, it earmarks it so much as being 2002, and it makes me wish like, yo, I would love to hear these songs without the double. You know, like just
kill them.
It's capable because it was more for aesthetic, and it wasn't like to save for the fact that they couldn't finish a line because they didn't have the breath control. It was just like, yo, you know, it would be dope if we doubled, you know, every punchline or every, you know, like end of the bar. It's hard
I kind of
to
feel
listen.
like there's only one artist in history where the doubles worked, and that's Pac. I mean, like, to me, it's just Tupac. Like, literally everybody else, get rid of that shit. Just get it out. But like for Pac, it co-authored the sound. It's part of the sound. It makes logical sense. I think for almost everybody else, it's just we should just get rid of it. There's a Raekwon Ghostface Rick Ross song where Ghostface is the only person on the song with ad-libs, and it's the most stark. Like it's too like it's so like why does he have doubles? Like it just sounds so crazy. It throws the whole song off. So I'm with you on that, Sean.
All right, so Kap, are we cutting or keeping this song?
It's one of my least favorite Clipse songs. So yeah, that it's a cut for me easily. I agree with the Tupac. I agree with the Tupac notes. Oh, like I think Pac could get away with his dubs so much because he harmonized well with his dubs instead of just rapping over himself. You know, like I think like I wouldn't be surprised if Nelly still does dubs because Nelly kind of like sing raps his shit. You know, like there's more of a melodic. So I think if you're like
with Pac too, it was a big passion thing. Like I think the dubs it helped the passion of what he was saying a lot. Also, you know,
in Army, there's more than one Pac. There's two Pac. I'm backing myself up. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
Yeah,
sorry, guys.
God damn.
There's two Pacs.
There's two. You know, get it? Faith Evans, two Pacs. All right. Next song. Yeah.
All right, next song, number 10, featuring Fabolous. It is Comedy Central.
Then yeah, I mean, what a time for Fab, bro. I mean, he was fish grease at the time, bro. Holy shit! I'm assuming MidaZ, you did not fuck with Fab at the time.
Nah, I definitely did fuck with Fab. I didn't fuck with Fab. Like he wasn't my favorite. Like there was dudes were like it was Fab. You know what I mean? But yeah, I got love for Fab. What's the Neptunes joint that he got? What was that joint?
Holla Back Youngin.
Holla Back Youngin was my shit. Yeah. Super my shit. And I will say, you know, because I roll real, like if I roll with Tupac, I was a Tupac fan, so I couldn't get into Big as much because I'm over here. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of my way. So I remember when Fab first came out, I was like, damn, this dude is just like Mace reincarnated. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, yo, fuck this guy. I roll with Mace. But I got over that real quick because Fab was rhyming. You know what I'm saying? He's fucking ass off. So I love Fab. I thought he killed it on this shit. That fucking cat, that fucking itinerary buying a Jerry bit, like that's just stupid.
His syllabic game was like it was something new to mixtape rap almost. Like, I mean, I was listening to Fab since he was Fabolous Sport with like
Fabolous Sport. Fabolous Sport.
Like I was up on Fab before, like, for at least for me, like in my circle, I was the first people up on his shit. So to see him blow up over like the early 2000s was like crazy to me. And like seeing the track list and being like, oh shit, they've got Fabolous, Styles P, and Jadakiss on this fucking project. Like I was like, these guys do rap. You know what I mean? Because like, and like if you're talking about mixtape New York in 2002, if you're not talking about Fabolous, Desert Storm, and D Block, I'm not saying there weren't other people there, but like you're telling the rappers to come play on your project. And I like that this song with no fucking hook. There's no hook on this song, right?
No.
Yeah, this is just a straight up like, we are here to rap. And I think again, it's like, part of me feels like, and I could be wrong, because like Fab also always reminded me a little bit of Jay, but with like a different swag almost. And I'm like, they wanted Jay-Z on this song. Not that they didn't want Fab, but like if you listen to it, I'm almost like,
Jay would have danced on this.
Would have fucking shit. He would have murdered this. Yeah. And like in my, like, all right, like if we're also cutting off songs that we can, and Fab's verse is so dope, but I know like Jay on this would have been butter. And again, it's a keep for me because of the bar work and nostalgia. It's not necessarily my favorite beat, but the beat was there for them to do what they had to do.
Yeah, I like it. It's a keep for me. It's kind of like Sinister, but it's like weird, quirky, Sinister beat style from them. And yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to add to it. It's definitively like an album cut, but it's a solid one. It's probably one of a handful of Fabolous verses that I actually know and could like reference or cite. And you got to give it up to Fab, you know, regardless of what you think of him. His impact on the game, at the very least, is that he's made it a little more difficult to spell the word fabulous correctly. It's a long-lasting impact. So we're keeping Comedy Central. We're going to move on to track number 11. Let's Talk About It, featuring Jermaine Dupri. So, a little bit of a discrepancy here. This song is featured on 2 albums. It's on the Clipse album featuring Jermaine Dupri, and then it's also on Jermaine Dupri's second album, I want to say, featuring Clipse. Say it again?
Instructions is Jermaine Dupri's second album.
Yeah, exactly. So it kind of is one of those that lived in 2 places. I don't ever really know how the business behind that worked, or like, you know, why that happens sometimes, and other times, you know, it wouldn't happen with other artists. But yeah, this is it's a Jermaine Dupri collaboration. Can't say that like I love this song, but I'm looking at my list here and how many more we have. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna vote to keep it. It's it is not one that I listen to a lot. I think I would mostly skip it, but it is the least egregious. It's probably my least favorite of the 10 songs I would vote to keep on this song, but it's still dope. You know, I mean, like, it's got some funny lines. I love the Pharrell ad-libs and like sort of additions to some of the verses on this album. We listened to one when we previewed this, but yeah, my vote is to keep. Let's talk about it. So let's talk about it. What do you guys think?
So one, I always liked this song, but again, it wasn't my favorite. It was just like, you know, like I always thought that Jermaine Dupri produced it, to be completely honest.
I thought the same thing hearing it.
Like, it's not like, it is when you listen to it, it's obviously a Neptunes beat, but it has like that Jermaine Dupri bounce. And I wouldn't be surprised if at the time he heard Grindin and he hit up Pharrell and he was like, I need a joint with them on my project that I'm working on. And like, you know, like this is coming off the heels of his album before that had in the Ferrari and Jaguar pushing, like that's like, you know, like the single with him and Jay. And then this album, I know we're not doing Jermaine Dupri right now, but like this is leading into his collabs with like Ludacris, like Welcome to Atlanta where the players play. Like that's like Jermaine Dupri actually made pretty great albums. Like this second album has a collab with Freeway and Jadakiss while Jadakiss and Freeway were beefing with each other. Like it's pretty, there's actually some great moments on both of his solo projects. That being said, I think Jermaine Dupri shows up and just does what Jermaine Dupri does. I don't know if Jermaine Dupri wrote his verse or if one of the brothers wrote his verse, but I'm assuming Jermaine Dupri probably wrote his verse. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some kind of co-production from Jermaine Dupri on there, just because it's on his album.
It sounds like a Jermaine Dupri beat to me.
It's just got that. And again, like, I really don't like this hook. The hook, the hook is ass. The hook is ass. But that being said,
would you say the hook is yuck?
Yeah. It's not great. Is it like a very similar tempo to When the Last Time, or am I bugging?
It's close enough.
But I'm saying, does this have Kallous on the outro? Is this not dun, 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 dun. I think it's this song.
Yeah.
Either way.
There's a na thing, but yeah.
I enjoy that. There's many elements of this song that I enjoy outside of the hook. And for that, I can keep the song, and I agree with Sean. It's probably in like my least favorite of the keepers, but I do think it fits the album in an interesting way, where it's like, I wouldn't have put Fab, Jadakiss, Styles, and then Jermaine Dupri, but you know, like for it not making sense as a contrast, it's still an enjoyable song, like sonically to me. Like, you know, it's never been a song where I'm like, it comes on and I'm like, this, you know what I mean? But it's also never been a song where I was like, put on that Clipse and Jermaine Dupri, you know, like y'all gotta slap the collab, but whenever it came on, it was a song that I enjoyed. So like, yeah, let's keep it. Why not?
Yeah, I got it as a keep too. Although I do think, and this is gonna sound, what you call it, Sean, like a reluctant keep a little bit. Because
fucked up keep.
A fucked up keep, yeah. Because it's a really generic rap song.
For sure.
It's you know, like, but what makes it even crazier is that it's a really generic rap song in a time where all the songs were really generic rap songs. And it's a really generic rap song amongst a 2002 where every song was really generic. Like, it's really generic. It's just a rap song, you know, like it's got all the cookie cutter elements of let's make it reminds me of, which I think is the all-time worst rap song ever, which is Shake Your Tail Feather. I think Shake Your Tail Feather is the worst rap song ever made. And why I think that is because Shake Your Tail Feather is the most generic song of all time, in my opinion. This has a lot of those same elements. It's better, but it has a lot of those same elements of like just genericness. And with that being said, I'm a Jermaine Dupri guy. Like, I fuck with Jermaine Dupri. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I like anytime I get to hear Jermaine Dupri, he's rhyming, he's doing his Jermaine Dupri things. I fuck with it. So I don't hate the song. I think the song is cool. It's just super generic, but I would keep it though. It's I don't think you come to this album for that feature, but it's still pretty dope to me as a whole, even though it's generic.
It stands out too on an album that is not generic. There might be things that you like or don't like about some of the other songs on this album, but it's not generic. It almost seems like they were trying to, like, you know, play the positions. Like, look, we can do a girl song, we can do a club song, we can do a Mobb Deep song, we can do a generic song. We can do generic. Like, it's great, but nobody wants generic. Well, so anyway, it's a reluctant, unanimous keep. We're gonna move on to track number 12, Gangsta Lean. The only thing I don't like about this song is that the first part of the song and the outro is not the song. Like, I love the first beat, and I do enjoy the second beat, but to me the intro is so much better than the main bulk of the song. And you know, maybe that's a trick sometimes that people do, where they just like do something dope, but they make it really short. It's like the Pete Rock interlude effect, where it's like, oh, I'm just going to give you a little taste of this thing and like make you know, rewind or go back to it. But I do like this song. This is actually one of my favorite songs on the album. It's a song that is notably not about cocaine, because it's definitely a song about weed. It's only about weed. They're personifying smoking weed. I love the song, but I just want to say that I especially really love the intro, outro, and I want to hear if there was ever a demo of this where like there was a whole song over that beat. But yeah, my vote is to keep.
My vote is to keep. No, my vote is to cut. And the reason why I'm cut, sorry, I was reading the wrong note. The reason why I have it as a cut is not because it's not dope. I think it's super dope, actually. Just think it's on the wrong album. And possibly the wrong artist. So this sounds like, oh man, this would have been a fire Pharrell and Snoop Dogg collaboration. This would have been a fire. I just feel like this is a song for the wrong rappers. So there's a steez of like this era of the Clipse as I'm going back and listening to this record where I kind of hear that like the Neptunes were producing, the Neptunes were producing for all the biggest rappers in the game at the time. And then they've got their own like pet project, their own guys. But so many of these joints kind of feel like I got this joint for so-and-so and then so-and-so didn't do it. You guys can have it. Not that that's what happened, but that's what some of these things feel like. Like this doesn't feel like a Clipse song to me. This feels like a Pharrell song or, like a Neptune song that didn't work out that way and we went a different direction and hey, you guys just fill in the blanks kind of deal. But it's fire, it that doesn't take away from its fireness. It just seems misplaced on this record. And it's even sound wise, it's kind of, honestly, the Pharrell singing on this record is kind of like every time he sings, it's not what I'm here for, which is kind of crazy. It's just because that's a dope thing, but it's not what I'm here for. I didn't come here for that. It feels like a N.O.R.E joint. You know what I'm saying? That just so happens to be on the Clipse album. So I just think it's miscast on this record. So with that, I would cut it.
Yeah, I think I agree with both of you in different departments before. It doesn't necessarily, I mean, it's a song about weed. I don't think they smoke weed. like I think they sell coke and
you would
smoking.
know.
Yeah, but smoking weed, I don't like running the count when I'm high. So I'm assuming if y'all are counting that much cash and dope, you may not want to be stoned all the fucking time. That being said, if you give the Clipse a subject, they're gonna rap the shit out of that fucking subject. And they're two 216s, or maybe it's 216s and 2.8s, whatever the fuck it is. They really kill the whole I used to love her concept about weed. Like, we're basically like, all right, like Mary Jane by Scarface, I used to love her. If you mix those two songs and give it Pharrell production, this is kind of what you have. And like, it's probably the best, in my opinion, at least, the best effort from Pharrell on the project. I really like this hook a lot. Like, I think like if you're going to make like a weed song, at least be like a little creative about it. And it's like, all right, guys, like we've got our girls song, we got our club song, we've got our grinding song, we've got our Jermaine Dupri song, we've got our like
Mobb Deep song.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, what other gap do we need to fit in here? And it's like, weed, of course, weed, guys. Like, what are we thinking? And like, so like, but that being said, it's a song in the car. This song slaps. Like, it's a really enjoyable listen in the whip. And like, just based off nostalgia, like if I was like smoking a blunt and like riding in the car, like I never skipped this song. I really like, it was a song that I always enjoyed. And it's another one where it's like, I'm never like, hey, put on that weed song by the Clipse. But when it comes on in the project, I've always enjoyed the whole song. It does sound like it would fit better on their second album for some reason. Like, it seems like this is just like, maybe it was towards the end of their like recording too, but like, again, it's something I would keep because we have room for it. And I enjoy this song for what it is. It's just like, I don't need another weed song from the Clipse. Like how I can listen to like 50 songs about weed from Snoop, Currency, like, like Wiz, whatever it is. I only need one song about weed from the Clipse. And like, that's it. And I might only need one song about girls from the Clipse also. Like, it's like, I I'm okay with them living inside their sphere and just fucking being barbarians of that sphere. Like that's totally like I'm down with that. But that being said, you know, I'll keep it. I'll smoke some weed with the Clipse. Why not?
All right. Well, we're gonna keep it. We're gonna move on to track number 13. It's "I'm Not You" featuring Jadakiss, Styles P, and Rosco P. Coldchain.
Probably won't murder you. Probably think I won't murder you the way I smile, but I'm gonna take a lot of shots. AI style.
And Jada, the name is filthy, but so what? The motherfucking game is filthy. You know what?
You know what?
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. Yeah.
It was a time where, like, to me, still Styles and Jada can do no wrong, but this was like the epitome of they cannot. Like, this was the time for me. So again, just seeing that collab. Not to jump in first, but like, I wish this wasn't the last song on the project. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't feel like a last song on an album. That's my only like issue with it.
I would agree.
It's just we're gonna go from this to the remix to Grinding, and it's just like I understand leaving people wanting more, but fuck you, I wanted more. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, give me one fire outro song.
This is a penultimate joint. Like it needs it needs to find. But the problem is, you know, sometimes Sean, we do these things, and it's like, this probably was a better first joint, and this probably was a better last joint. They don't have a better last joint on here. There's no last song on here. They needed to record it.
They could
not record it.
They could put "Grindin" as the last song. Like
Grindin' could have been the last song, sure.
But that's not a great pick. That's like trying to put a Band-Aid on a very evident problem, because that was my number one note for this song. I do like this song. It's a cool beat, you know, kind of unorthodox beat, even kind of, and it's dope to hear all the other MCs on it. But it's not a last song at all. It really ends it on a very strange. Because this is the end of the album. And if it is the penultimate song, it's definitely not to lead into two unnecessary remixes that no one ever listens to, which I'm just going to say. So I don't know. My vote was to keep, and I think it's super dope, but it is a weird last song.
When you think about bookending things too, like, it's such a strong intro to not have a real finish. You know what I'm saying? Right. So like, and I would even add to that more, like, there's like 2 or 3 songs in the beginning of the record where there's, we here, this is our story, this is how we came up. So there's so much storytelling in the front half of the front beginning of the record, and then it all goes away. Like, there's no more. All right, this is how we came up. And then I guess it's like, now we're going to tell you about our lifestyle, maybe, I'm assuming. But there's no, at least from my taste, there's no like wrap up to that. You know, like it doesn't wrap up. It just, we're still telling you about we're just gonna tell you about our lifestyle. You know what I mean? I wish there was a close to this album that would have made it feel more like a thing. But you know,
well, you know what it could benefit from is if there was a song where this would go against their entire steez. But if there was a song that expressed more of the complexities of, like, it's not always great having to sell cocaine, you know, like maybe there are shades of gray to this lifestyle. I mean, it's great. There's things that kind of puts some sort of narrative bow on it but it's kind of like, yeah, this is where we come from and we're better than you. And this is how we lived. And that's just what it is. And there's not really like a great punctuation to the statement.
Punctuation is the right word.
Yeah. So,
but the joint's dope, and I voted to keep it.
Yeah.
I feel like Virginia could maybe be a good outro song, but it sits so well. It sits so well at number 3. I didn't want to say it, but I feel like if you were going to end the project on any of these tracks that I'm looking at, it would probably be Virginia, because it's a little more stoic. It's a little darker. It's a little more like what Sean was saying, where it's like, this is the reality of what we're dealing with, even though like we're glorifying a lot through this whole project. Here's Virginia, and shit's fucked up. But because it makes such a good point of like, we agreed on the first 5 songs in a row, obviously they make sense in that order, like, you know, because like that was were nonstop, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We all agreed on those. But if there was one I'd pick for like switching things around, it would be that. Outside of that, it's a keep for me, just because I mean you've got Jadakiss, Styles, Malice, and Push over like a super interesting Neptunes beat that we know probably did not get pitched to anybody else.
Yeah,
like that probably did not. And like I'm assuming nobody passed on any of the other beats, so maybe there was nothing else to put on the end of the album. You know? like you know, like Jay-Z and Nelly and all these other people said yes to all the other songs, so maybe this is just what was left, you know?
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna keep it. Look, we alluded to this before. There's 2 more remixes of Grindin on the album. Rob, you can just play them both back to back here. But we got the Grindin remix featuring Birdman, Lil Wayne, and N.O.R.E, and then the Grindin Selector remix featuring Sean Paul, Bless, and Kardinal, Offishall. I mean, these are just the definition of inessential to me. And I just don't understand. I don't think anybody was. I think Grindin was hot enough that this wasn't going to entice anyone to cop the album if they weren't going to already. It's like, I'm kind of on the fence. Oh, you got fucking N.O.R.E and Kardinal on the fucking Grindin remix? Okay, take my money. Like, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. I don't know. But they're both cuts to me.
Yeah.
I didn't even listen to them, so I don't know.
You don't need to. you don't need to. And it's not shitting on any of the artists. It's just not. It's just. It's almost
like freestyling over the beat.
Yeah, or it's almost like in like Jamaican like reggae music where like everybody like hops on like, you know, a certain rhythm. You know what I mean? Like this is like, okay, here's the grind. Like,
yeah,
it is 2002. It is of the time. Perhaps you'd like to rhyme on this beat that is like revolutionizing radio, but like no, but they didn't make it their own. I don't think. Cap, do you have any like counter to that?
I really assume that like the rap remix came from 2 different studio sessions. Like whatever they were doing with N.O.R.E for like N.O.R.E's new album that ended up with like what Nothing was like N.O.R.E's big hit around 2002. So this was probably from the Nothing fucking, or just hit up N.O.R.E like, hey man, we need a solid real quick. Nobody knows who these guys are, but you know, we got them. And I don't know around when What Happened to That Boy was recorded, but I'm assuming that's where the other 2 verses came from, because they're Bird and Wayne probably wrote both of them in a session for a Baby album. Would be my guess. So it's like it seems more like a remix of Circumstance more than like a really really dope remix. Like the best remix from 2002 is They Shootin', Nas, Luda, and Jada is probably that remix is like motherfuckers showed the fuck up. Does the remix have new verses from Malice and Push on it? That's the only thing that like I didn't go back and check. I feel like it has different verses for some reason. And like
it does. The rap remix does.
And they're dope verses. They're fucking dope verses. So like that's the only thing I would point out is like, I know if you want to hear even more Clipse over the Grindin beat, that's what the remix is for. But Wayne, N.O.R.E, and Baby, Wayne, sure. Like I'll always seek out a new Wayne verse, and like don't check them no because they stuffed with Blow Wheezy Baby. Like I remember his verse from the remix, but it's not like this phenomenal. And this was mixtape Wayne at the time. It's not even the best mixtape Wayne verse. So it's just like I can do without it. It's fine.
All right, so we have cut it down. Wait, really quick. We did vote to cut Ego, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we have cut the album down to 10 songs. The 10 songs we have voted are Intro, Young Boy, Virginia, Grindin, Hot Damn, When the Last Time, Comedy Central, Let's Talk About It, Gangsta Lean, and I'm Not You. Have we helped or hurt the album? I would say we helped it. I would say that this is a better album for the cuts that we made.
Trim the fat for sure.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Yeah, it just seems like that's it, you know.
Does it change the ranking like Mike scale? I would say for me probably maybe half a mic. Maybe if I was 3.5 before, I would say this bumps it up for me to like a solid 3.5, 4.
I didn't rate it. I didn't rate it in the beginning. I would say this is a solid 3.5 mic album that we just put together. I mean, you know, we talked about some of the things. There's other things that a proper close to the record, you know, you know, and a couple of stylistic choices I think you could add in that would really take it to one more level. This is one where trimming the fat, in my opinion, doesn't do enough. There's some things that need to be added. But if you trim a little bit of the fat, but then add something different, I think you get right a little bit of extra. I think you get right where this album kind of takes it to another level.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, it doesn't really change the project for me as far as like standing.
Yeah.
It's just like it's a project with a handful of songs that I wouldn't skip in an interlude that I never really fucked with.
Well, we want to know what you all think, so hop in the comments, let us know. Really quick, let's hop over to Patreon here. We have a little bit more time because I want to talk about the new Clipse album and an observation that I've had and we've sort of been talking about. So join us over there if you want to hear this, but we'll be back next time.